Hey, what's up everyone? How's it going? This is Waj. Hope you guys are all doing well. And for the past couple of weeks, we've been testing out the brand new Logitech G900 CHAOS SPECTRUM wireless gaming mouse. Now, this is essentially supposed to be the most powerful, advanced gaming mouse out there. It promises to deliver the performance that you get from a high-end wired gaming mouse in a wireless package. Now, the real cool thing about the G900 is that internally it's very similar to the G502 Proteus, which is probably one of the best gaming mice out there. So it's using the same PMW3366 sensor that the G502 has. So you have a sensitivity range of 200 to 12,000 CPI or DPI with zero artificial acceleration or smoothing. Additionally, there's also no pixel rounding effect. So the discrepancy between software reported DPI and the actual DPI is as minimal as possible. All this means is that you essentially get the performance that you all love with the G502 with the reliability and consistency of one of the most optimized and advanced 2.4 gigahertz wireless frequency Logitech has developed thus far. Logitech has also done some testing where they found the latency is actually faster than a lot of competitive gaming mice that you find from other manufacturers. Now, based on some of my testing and experience, I couldn't really tell the difference between the G900 and the G502 in terms of responsiveness and the overall gaming sensation at even super high CPI settings were pretty much the same. I don't really play or even use the mouse at those high DPIs beyond 5,000, but it's good to know that even if a person wants to use this wireless gaming mouse at 12,000 DPI for some of their gaming applications, this has no problems. You won't skip a beat, you won't miss a target. Everything will be dependent upon your skill, but the equipment won't definitely let you down, which is nice to know. Now, one of the main design goals of the G900 was to make a mouse as light as possible, and that's because there's a big trend right now with professional esports players on preferring really lightweight mouse so they don't have to move a heavy thing around and makes them more nimble, which is definitely understandable. Some people still like a heavier mouse like myself, or perhaps even a compartment where you can tune the weight and weight distribution like you can on the G502 Proteus. But at 107 grams, this is probably one of the lightest full-size wireless gaming mice that you're going to come across in the market. And Logitech was pretty darn obsessed of getting the weight down as possible. They've removed elements where you typically would find a lot of plastic or rubberized components. They've even integrated a small custom-sized lithium polymer battery to, again, keep things as light as possible, and that's one of the downsides. Unfortunately, the battery over here is non-removable. They've even hollowed out the hyper scroll wheel. You would typically find a solid wheel on things like the G502, but over here you can see that they've gone for a spoke design to, again, reduce weight. Now, the G900 does come with a 2-meter braided cable, and this allows for both charging and wired use. Now, as you can see from its symmetrical design, this is one of the few high-end wireless gaming mice that is actually truly ambidextrous. So that not only means that left-handed and right-handed players are going to have the same ergonomic benefits, but there's also redundancies when it comes to functionality. You'll see that both of the thumb buttons are located on both the left and right side of the mouse, and all these buttons have a magnetized attachment, so you can actually cover one side of the mouse with the included magnetized cover, or use all 4 of these buttons for different functional purposes. Now, you can use this mouse in a variety of different ways depending upon your gaming style. You can use the palm, claw, or fingertip method of control depending upon your personal preference. Whichever way you like to hold a mouse, you're going to find that things are relatively comfortable. At the end of the day, I would still prefer something that's designed either for the left hand or right hand specifically, and I do find that there's other gaming mice out there that are more comfortable for long-term permanent use. Now, one of the predominant design aspects of the G900 are the primary left-right click buttons, which use a spring tension system and a mechanical pivot bar in order to reduce the pre-travel distance between the buttons and the switches themselves, thereby reducing the amount of force you need for each click and the variability of pressure required for each click. In a lot of ways, from a keyboard analogy, this is like going from a rubber dome switch to a mechanical switch. Each press is very precise, has a nice clicky sensation, and just generally feels a little bit more responsive than other gaming mice. Now, obviously, this has a fully integrated RGB lighting system capable of reproducing up to 16.8 million colors, and you have 2 lighting points specifically, one on the logo, the other is on the 3 DPI indicators. Inside the Logitech software, you can set up to 5 different lighting presets, and each preset has a couple of different illumination modes. You can go for a solid color, you can go for a color cycle, or even a breathing mode. Additionally, there's also a cool new feature which will allow you to sync your color schemes to other Logitech peripherals. So for example, if you have a Logitech G810 or G910, you can basically have the same scheme across the mouse and the keyboard itself. So that could be pretty cool if you especially want a custom configuration that's going to match with your entire gaming rig. Beyond that, you can program each of the 11 buttons to whatever your heart's content. So there's plenty of customization options, especially with those extra 2 buttons on the side. And of course, last but not least, let's talk about the battery performance. Now, basically, you can game up to 32 hours with the LEDs off, non-stop hardcore gaming without any problems. Now, from my personal use with the LEDs off, I got about 4 days out of the G900 on just basically a little bit of gaming here and there, less than half an hour on most of the days, and just doing general web browsing and just my day-to-day work that I do on my computer. So that's pretty darn good. In a lot of cases, some people will just have the mouse plugged into their computer most of the time, so battery might not be of an issue in that scenario. But again, you're going to buy this because it's a wireless mouse, and in most cases the battery life isn't exceptional, especially when you have all of the LEDs on. Since the mouse is designed to be really light, they couldn't put a huge battery in there, even though they could, but again, that would defeat the purpose of having a lightweight mouse. And unfortunately, as we mentioned before, the battery isn't removable. But again, if you have any issues with charging or discharging, you have an excellent 2-year warranty. Beyond that, you're kind of on your own. You're probably going to have to send it to Logitech for replacing the battery. But really, other than that, guys, there's really nothing to complain about over here. Certainly, it is up in the higher end in terms of price. It's probably one of the more expensive gaming mice that you're going to find out there, but you also have to consider the wireless performance is up there compared to most of the best wired gaming mice possible. In some scenarios, it's even faster when it comes to latency. And beyond some of the ergonomical concerns, this is pretty much a great product that I think most people in line for a gaming mouse that has excellent wireless capabilities and consistencies, it's going to be really a no-brainer purchase for them. But definitely check out the description down below for more detailed information about everything we've talked about. And thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for your continuing support, and we'll see you later. Take care.